You are now tuned into Flippin' the Birds, a Philly Sports Network podcast.
What's going on, Eagles fans? Welcome all to episode 51 of Flippin' the Birds. I'm Brian Cameron, he's Chris Infante, and today we're going to focus on one thing in particular, the one thing that really holds dear to Howie Roseman's heart. But first, before anything, how you feeling today, brother?
Tired.
It's fatherhood.
Last night, my wife put my daughter to bed at 8 o'clock. You know how the bottles have the different nipples?
Are you working with the Dr. Brown stuff?
The Dr. Brown. Yeah, Dr. Brown. It's working pretty well, but so when we put her to sleep, she uses the one nipple, which is very slow. The two, it comes out much quicker, and that's she's 8 months now. We're like, all right, let's give her. So my wife last night accidentally puts the number 2 on. So usually when she goes to sleep, she puts the number 1 on. She just takes her time. She falls asleep during it and all that stuff. Number 2, she chugged it, and it took her forever to put it.
She was lit.
She was up. She started to do raspberries with her mouth lately. So she's just like looking at my wife going like all over and over and over. And then so she wakes up at 12:30 after my wife and I go to bed at 11. She wakes up at 12:30, and I put her back to bed. As I'm feeding her, looking at me. At fucking 1 o'clock in the morning, then she wakes up again at 3:30. Repeat what happened at 1. Then she's up again at 6. Repeat what happened the other 2 times. So I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna stay in the little recliner over her, and I take a little snooze, and I'm sleeping with her. And a half hour later, I feel her rustling, and she's looking at me, and she goes, I'm like, oh, motherfucker, what the hell are you doing?
Well, that's definitely life of fatherhood, man.
So you know what? That's why I have a glass of Red Label right now, because I plan on being very tired when my wife gets home from work. So when I go to bed, I can be like, oh, it's your turn.
Well, it's funny that your daughter had that reaction, because it seems like that's the reaction that Eagles fans had all offseason when it comes to defensive end. At first, the Eagles were rumored to be in on Yannick Ngakoue. They were rumored to be in Jadeveon Clowney.
Everson Griffin,
but nothing occurred at all this offseason. They're sticking to the young guns. The last move that they actually made for the defensive end spot was Jannard Avery last season when they traded for
Everson Griffin was a tease, because someone tweeted, come to the Eagles, something about the Eagles, and he liked it, or he retweeted it or something. So we're like, oh, okay.
So unfortunately, he's now a Cowboy. So we're sticking to our young guns, which, it could be good.
Except for senior citizen Vinnie Curry.
And senior citizen Brandon Graham. But Brandon Graham is still a monster. Let's put that out there for first and foremost. He's still eating.
He's on Cialis.
That guy has a wild energy, and it's phenomenal.
Or what says Cialis is Viagra. I forget all those old man pills. He's on some of them.
But before we focus on what Brandon Graham is on, we need to focus on something that's very, very, very important for the Eagles this season. Derek Barnett, 14th overall pick in 2017. Last season didn't have the worst year. I mean, he had 6.5 sacks to end the season, but Barnett he doesn't have that first round swagger yet, and it's kind of killing people right now because they're expecting him to be the guy when Brandon Graham retires. How are you feeling about Derek Barnett right now? Because I know you're a big DB guy.
I am a very big DB guy, because college production doesn't always come to an NFL production. He had the ultimate college production,
which Trey Thomas warned us about that as well.
He beat down Reggie White's career sack record at Tennessee. He was a monster, and then now you see what's happened, and it sucks, because I don't want to give a pope on him. It could very well be his last season with the Eagles. They could cut him next year, and with no penalty. They did pick up his option, but they could decline it before the new year starts, and he's out.
He's injured right now too.
He's hurt. We spoke to a source very close to the Eagles a few months ago, and he said that Derek Barnett is going to be in for a good year. This will finally be the first season he comes into any season, high school, college, NFL that he's healthy. Well, look where we are right now.
Yeah.
It sucks because I don't want to give up hope on him because we look at Brandon Graham. Then you look at Brandon Graham. Chip Kelly had him going to offensive outside linebacker in the 3-4 defense, and it just didn't work. It didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
So finally, go back to 4-3. It's back to normal for Brandon Graham, and it was catch-22 there because you got Brandon Graham outside sucking at linebacker, but you got Fletcher Cox being dominant at defensive end.
Mm-hmm.
Fletcher Cox still still dominant at defensive tackle. We would like to see a little bit more this year, but
Absolutely.
especially with all these new contracts being handed out to defensive tackles, I'm sure he's going to be like, hey, I'm not the highest paid anymore, or second highest paid anymore.
Yeah.
But Derek, I don't want to give up on him. But I will say, when Brandon Graham retires, this is my hot take.
Okay.
I do not believe his replacement is on the roster.
I'm going to 1,000% agree with that. Just looking at Derek Barnett's numbers, 14 sacks in his first 3 seasons, only played 6 games in 2018. He went out after the Colts game, if I'm not mistaken. It's disappointing for sure because you expect so much from this great college product, which you just reiterated. It's hard to really say that the Eagles will even bank on him being on the roster, especially with the cap held that they'll be facing next season. I can't see them giving him the contract that he wants.
Yeah, he's not going to. I mean, like his 5th-year option is like over $10 million, I believe. So it's like that he doesn't even warrant that much money, and the quick answer is no. But it's like you lose Derek Barnett, then you're stuck with another year older Brandon Graham.
Mm-hmm.
You're stuck with who knows how Josh Sweat's knees are going to hold up this year. We don't know what we have in Sharif Miller. Casey Toolhill just went from linebacker to defensive end, and he's a 7th-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Vinnie Curry's probably gone next year. He's
probably going to retire next year.
Probably retire. Deshawn Hall's got cut in his back, but he's pupless or whatever. Yep. Yeah, so it's a rough situation. I mean,
it's too much of a wild card right now because Howie loves the trenches.
Yeah, either side.
And it's hard to really say, like, you don't have any certainty after this season because you don't know what you're getting out of the guys you just mentioned.
Because you look at the draft, and I looked at quickly at the draft for next year. There's really no defensive ends that are maybe a guy from Michigan, Aiden Hutchinson, projected to go in the first round. There's Quincy Roche from Miami, first round, but they're like late first round picks, which we hope the Eagles are picking.
Yeah.
But next year I think they're going to be looking at two different positions: interior offensive line, because who knows where Jason Kelsey is going to go? Who knows how Brandon Brooks is going to heal? Who knows if Isaac Samuel is going to take that next step up? Who knows how Jason Peters is going to look at guard? So they might look at interior offensive line or defensive end, because it's that right now the outlook at defensive end is bleak if Barnett's out.
Okay, so before we because I definitely want to pick your brain about options that we may have next offseason. The next guy, Josh Sweat, 4 sacks last season, only played 35% of the defensive snaps, played all 16 games. He looked good at moments. He looked really good. But like you said, his knees are the main concern. And obviously you can't rely on somebody who is frail in that certain part of your body, especially when he needs that boost and that power.
Yeah, it's when you're in that stance and you need that angle, you need that bend. And I missed the name before, Jannard Avery. We don't know what we're going to see.
We're definitely going to cover Jannard Avery.
We don't know what we're going to see in Jannard Avery, Mr. Linebacker defensive end, who worked with Footwork King. He showed some videos of some impressive bend.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know legs were supposed to bend that way and still have that burst. So, but yeah, when you need that bend and you have knee issues, you don't know how long you have until those knee issues come up and you're out. This is a big year for him right now. I think he would be the third defensive end coming out. So you start with, if Barnett's healthy, you start with Graham, Barnett, rotate in, Sweat comes in first, maybe Vinnie Curry, Jannard Avery. Then would Sharif Miller make the team?
That's a very big question mark.
I mean, he's gotten little bit of praise this offseason. I forget by who. I think Brandon Graham, saying that he's been working. He's been sending videos of working.
But the Eagles don't keep that many defensive ends on the roster to begin with.
I mean, especially like you don't need to carry that many when you rotate as much as they do. Like you keep them pretty fresh. So I think right now it's Graham, Barnett, Avery, Curry, Sweat. Maybe. No, maybe Miller. Maybe.
Very, 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 very big maybe for Miller. But speaking about Avery, he looked good in Cleveland. Obviously, when they traded him, Cleveland fans were raging about it. They were pissed off about it. 4.5 sacks in 2018, but he did play as a linebacker. 8 QB knockdowns, 12 hurries, and only 3 missed tackles in his rookie season. Obviously, he played for both teams last year, but didn't see much action with us, even though he did have that sack against the Bears in his first game.
He had a really good.
The kid flew through the line.
He had a really good debut, and then where's Jannard Avery?
He just disappeared completely.
And that same source we spoke to before was saying it was always for the future. It's always for the future. But why not use him? Like
get him ready.
So
get him acquainted.
You have for the future.
Absolutely.
Don't keep him away and be like, we're going to see what we have next year. You just spent a 4th round pick on the guy, and now 4th round picks nowadays are like moneymaker, like trade, completing deals, and now that's gone. So if you want to make a deal in the draft next year, you're probably giving up a 3rd round pick or something. I mean, they gave up a 3rd last year for some guy named Darius Slay, but
some guy.
So it's could work out. But then they do have that other extra pick they got from the Cowboys. I hope we get someone really good. Like if they trade up using that Cowboys pick and get someone real good, it's gonna be.
Make sure it stings.
It's oh yeah. But it's I really like Jannard Avery.
I feel like he's like a mini Brandon Graham, like just like hidden though. Like he's that guy that you unlock in like a video game that's like the best character in the game. Like that's my expectations of Avery. I feel like he's really gonna be a Brandon Graham-esque player, or worst comes to worst, he's gonna be a Vinnie Curry-esque player, and it's still like not terrible.
But I think he's gonna be quicker than either of them.
Absolutely.
He's 6 feet 250.
He's like a big old wrecking ball.
And I'm pretty sure, like right now, I'm 6 feet 250. So, but I'm pretty sure they look differently on both of us.
All percent body fat. 0% body fat.
I'm pretty sure if we stood next to each other, he would tower over me, even though we are the same height.
It's like your final evolved form.
And it sucks because he's younger than us. He's 25, and we're the same height and weight. He probably can lap me on a mile run a few times.
Possibly. He could probably just leave me. I'll walk out.
He'd probably be in the store getting his groceries by the time he's done with his 40-yard dash, and I'm done with my 40-yard dash. I'd probably be down on the ground holding my hamstring because it tore off the bone.
You pulled a Josh McCown.
So yeah, I probably would. I mean, it's I have bad hamstrings. He probably doesn't. So it's
let's hope he doesn't, because with this offseason, like a lot of people are getting injured quickly. That's scary.
Yeah, we're only a week into.
So many people tore their ACLs, hyperextended their knees.
Yeah, but not
Joe McCoy just got dropped by the Cowboys.
Yeah, the Cowboys. I mean, I know it was in their contract, so like they knew it was a liability.
Mm-hmm.
but still, like, put him. You know, if maybe he won't want to resign with you next year. I saw fans like it's all planned to resign. Like, no, he's gonna be a year older. He's probably gonna.
They're not gonna bring him back.
They did him dirty, and it's like, no, I don't want to go there. He's gonna come to the Eagles, to the quarterback that he thinks is better than Dak Prescott, Carson Wentz, and he'll just hang out with us. It's fine.
Why not?
But yeah, knock on wood, we haven't had that major injury yet.
It's just Javon
I have
and
to say yet.
Derek.
It's just every year that it happens.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's we're just waiting for it. But Javon Hargrave hurt himself lifting. It happens to me all the time. I get it. You know, again, we're probably two different sizes. It's okay, but you know, it probably just didn't stretch that much. You know, you gotta stretch before you lift. Coming from a phys ed teacher and a weight room coach, you know, weight training coach, and you gotta stretch your muscles. You gotta warm them up. Don't go out there and just try and bench, and you know, and you gotta strain your pectoral, which is what he did. Mm-hmm. So he's got out for a few weeks. It's not, if it's just a strain, it's not gonna be too terrible to get through. But you got Barnett, J-Jaw, still.
Oh, I know he was on the field today. He was moving.
Yeah, but he wasn't participating in team drills. From what I read, he was in pads and everything, but he wasn't doing anything.
Apparently he had some crazy injuries last season, so we don't know if he's still recovering, because that in itself was a big secret. But speaking of a player that didn't do anything last season, let's talk about your favorite person on the defensive end list, Sharif Miller, who has been self-proclaiming that he's going to be a monster this season. He's going to shut everybody up. I personally, granted, I do work, you know, during the day with customers, so I'm not on Twitter that much. I haven't seen nothing about Miller. I know he blocked you, so I don't know if you've seen anything there.
He did block me. And to those of you that don't know the situation here, again, and this is my question is a good question, because Sharif Miller played 2 snaps last year. 2 snaps. Mm-hmm. So when someone posted a screenshot from Madden of the Eagles winning the Super Bowl and Carson Wentz has the trophy in his hands in Madden, there is a player next to him with the number 51. So my question on Twitter was, why the fuck is Sharif Miller up there? And it went I want to say like a little viral, like hundreds of likes, and people were like laughing. And I was like, yeah, what is he doing up there? And,
he was livid.
And he was very angry with me. He said, you stay speaking on my name. I'm like, that's the first time I've ever tweeted about you. Like are you kidding me? And,
who are you?
And he said, I forget what else he said. And then before I was able to respond, he blocked me. I'm like, damn, man.
We've been getting blocked by a lot of people on Twitter recently.
Yeah. I was in a conversation about air fryers today, and someone commented on a post and tagged me on it saying, what are your thoughts? And I said, I'm assuming you're talking about air fryers because the person you're replying to blocked me.
Yeah, let's not talk about that person. But back to Sharif Miller. Is there any expectations from this season? Like, we didn't see anything last year.
I honestly, in these drills and everything, I haven't seen anything.
I haven't heard anything else.
At the same time, I really haven't read anything much about the defense. I've read a lot on. I know Hassan Ridgeway is impressing people. We see a lot of cornerback talk, like Rasul Douglas is getting his ass kicked out there. He did have an interception today. So did Sidney Jones. Jumped too high and it flew over his head. Apparently, Sidney Jones not having that great of a camp. Bonte Maddox is starting alongside Slay right now. Mills is having a pretty good camp at safety. I haven't really heard anything about Cox, Graham.
It's been really quiet for
them. I haven't heard anything about any defensive linemen. Like how are the rookies doing? Like how's Casey Toolhill doing? How's
Toolhill actually he's been praised by Brandon Graham all day today. I did read that. He's been Graham has been hyping up the kid nonstop all day today.
Okay. Well, maybe he sneaks up on Miller. You know, Miller has competition there. We haven't heard.
Do you mean Tua has no competition? I'm sorry, I got it.
I
Hopefully,
forgot
I
what
don't
I
get
was
blocked.
saying. I haven't heard anything about Avery.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about the only undrafted guy that I saw mentioned today the last couple of days is Adrian Killens doing kick return work and wide receiver work. So we don't know what's going on with. I think I saw Raekwon Williams. I think I saw a little bit of praise for him, defensive tackle. But we don't know what's going on. Maybe the next couple of days, we'll see. Maybe today, Wednesday, we'll see more updates on that. But I think it's plausible
Mm-hmm.
that they go 5 defensive ends and maybe add an extra defensive tackle.
I would think, yeah, that makes the most sense because of the health of the DT.
Health of Barnett. But you look at defensive tackle, you want to add another one in case you kick out Jackson to end, you kick out Cox to end. You add another defensive tackle in there. It could be Cox, it could be Hargrave, Jackson, Ridgeway. Maybe Raekwon Williams makes it.
Well, speaking of Malik Jackson, though, you say if they kick him out to defensive end, which he did phenomenally well in Denver, and I think that's a big secret ingredient for shortened defenses.
Him
this
and
season he had about 14.5 sacks in Denver when he played left side and right side for defensive end.
In 2013 defensive end he had 6 sacks. 2014 3. But those 2 years he didn't start all 16.
Mm-hmm.
The next in 2015 in Denver, defensive end 5.5 sacks.
Mm-hmm.
So 14.5 sacks across his 4 years in Denver. But his first year, his rookie year, he played 14 games. He only had 3 tackles.
Yeah.
But then Jacksonville comes along. He had decent years at defensive tackle, 6.5 sacks, 8 sacks, and then
he's definitely not a bad defensive tackle.
Then his final year he got benched and only 3.5 sacks in 10 starts, 16 games. So yeah, he's done it. And so has Cox. So you have that little wrinkle you can add. So I don't know who you're double teaming. If you have a defensive line of Brandon Graham, Javon Hargrave, Fletcher Cox, and Malik Jackson, interchange Jackson and Cox, who are you double teaming?
Imagine having a defensive line with Ridgeway, Cox, Hargrave, Jackson, all those big guys.
Right? Who? I'm sorry.
If they can stay healthy, it's gonna be a top 5 defense for sure.
I think the only defensive line that can, there might be 2 defensive lines that can compete with that: San Francisco and the Washington Walmart employees.
The Washington football team. So speaking of back to defensive end, one new addition. I mean, they did kind of invest in the defensive end position this offseason by re-signing Vinnie Curry, who lit up December completely. On the way Eagles' way to the playoffs. 4 of his total sacks came in December, which to your sources' words were the big time when
they needed it.
Curry.
Yeah,
I think they brought him into defensive tackle though. Was it?
Yeah, he rotated in there too. So that's another thing they can do. They can move Curry inside if they need to. So I think Curry. He went through a lot of shit this last month. I think he lost his half brother. He lost a teacher, I believe. His old teacher, I believe. He took his time to come back. So I think he turned down an offer from the Browns.
He did. He
for more money.
Offer for more money.
Yeah, for more money. So to come back home, he's a true Eagle through and through. He's only spent 1 year out of Philadelphia. He's born in Neptune, New Jersey, Eagles country. So it's probably his last year, but if it's regardless, he's an Eagle for life.
And he's a staple of the most incredible Eagles Super Bowl photo. Yeah. That photo gives me so much energy and gives me so emotional at the same time.
Yeah, so he's a Eagles legend just for the way he plays the game.
Absolutely.
He had 5 sacks last year, again 4 in the last 5 games. Excuse me. He he only has 27 sacks in his Eagles career, but he makes them count. He had the phenomenal 2014 year, nine sacks, which came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's been 3.5, 2.5, 3, 2.5, 5. So it's maybe he reclaimed some of that magic this year. Who probably not. He is 32. But I think bringing him into this line where there's so much talent around, any person on that line, no matter who it is, no matter if even Sharif Miller, people are gonna get there. This is gonna be the year if everybody stays healthy. This is going to be the year where if you do not perform, that says a lot about you because you're going to have a lot of opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be getting double teamed because you have to worry about the other person. There might be a lot more coverage sacks, whereas our defensive backs can finally hold their own. And if you're not getting to the damn quarterback because the cornerback's doing their job, then you got an issue. Last year, the issue was the defensive line wasn't going to the quarterback because quarterback was releasing the ball too fast.
Yes.
Everybody's like, you can't get pressure. Well, you can't get pressure because the cornerbacks aren't doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, quarterback drives it. Okay, here's a pass. That's it. You can't do it. But now with this revamped defensive backfield led by Marquand Manuel, who has been on everybody's ass. Every video I see of him, he's like on them. Like we got a good hire in him.
Yep,
and,
I completely agree.
It's if they do their job and lock down these receivers and give the defensive line more time to get there, if you're not getting there, then there's something about you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably going to be your last year on the team.
So Vinnie Curry is not the only 32-year-old now. Brandon Graham just turned 32 in April, and he had a pretty good season last year, 8.5 sacks. I mean, he led the team in sacks.
Oh, excuse me. He's creeping up on Eagles' all-time sacks list.
I think Fletcher are tied now, if I'm not mistaken, right? 48 apiece, something like that?
No, Brandon Graham's at 51.
Okay.
So he is, I think, and I'm quickly going to my article because I wrote about this. I believe, before I even looked it up, I believe he's 4 away from moving up the list and moving closer to Trent Cole, but I don't think he's going to get to Trent Cole. But so Brandon Graham is 5th all time with 51. 4 sacks, moving past Hugh Douglas for 4th place. A 10-sack season could maybe set him up for a run at 3rd place in 2021 because Clyde Simmons has 76. So if Brandon Graham has 10 sacks this year, 10 plus, that brings it to 61, 62, 63.
Mm-hmm.
Sits 13, 14, 15 sacks away from 76. Maybe another 2 years after that to 3rd place. And that would be incredible for a guy that was able to bust.
Yeah.
So quickly.
Nobody plays with his energy. Like he
has such a personality that you love for this team, for this city. He's such a great everybody was worried that he was going to go somewhere else when he was a free agent, and he wanted to stay home. It's he's another Eagle for life. We have a lot of those.
We surprisingly do.
Maybe not a tight end, but that's another story.
Hey. So let's talk about some fresh Eagles blood. One player who ended up on the PUP list, who had a monster preseason last season, and you were actually behind this guy, Deshawn Hall. Didn't really get much going in this season. I know it was partly due to injury, and it was weird that they couldn't get him going at the end of the day. A lot of people did blame the old defensive line coach. Wow, that may not be the truth from what Chris has heard.
It's who knows. Like I think it'll be telling this year if they actually get something out of that line. It's only a couple changes. Hargreaves a big change.
Yeah.
It's essentially it's really the same defensive line as last year. So if you get a little bit more out of that, but still, like that defensive line as a whole still had 100 pressures.
Mm-hmm.
They were rushing the quarterback fairly well. The sack numbers weren't really there, but I think they were 1 less than the year before. So it was pretty consistent. Well, people want sacks. They want sacks.
It
They
wasn't
want sacks.
solely
They
on
want sacks. They
them.
want
It
sacks.
was more so
On the cornerbacks.
Yeah.
I'm very adamant about that because like the corners when you're playing. Look at my arm. It's like straight out. You know, see when you're playing a lot farther than that, away from the receiver, and the receiver cuts through on a slant.
All the quarterback needs.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So what the hell do you want the defensive line to do? Teleport there?
Yeah, that's true.
So I think we had for the last few years we had a hell of a defensive line coach. You know, it was Philip Daniels, and before that it was Chris Wilson, who was Fletcher Cox's defensive line coach at Mississippi State. The Eagles did sign Chris Wilson's son, at tight end, Caleb Wilson.
Yep.
They're keeping it in the family this year. You know, they got Jalen Reagor, Monte Reagor's son, former Eagle. Sean Bradley is his dad played. I believe he wasn't on for the Eagles. You know, but you have some players that have pretty good pedigrees. You look at across down the time in Tampa Bay. Tom Brady's dad's played in the NFL. And I say dads because it's Eli Manning and Nick Foles. So there's that pedigree. It's really crazy to see the pedigree that comes into the NFL.
Terrible.
But it's I think from reading Matt Burke's statements, he seems like a guy that's going to get a lot of this line.
Well, he used to be a defensive coordinator too, so I mean, you should expect him to get the most.
But he was defensive coordinator, being a linebackers coach his whole career. So you think you're like, how do you make that transition from line? I get it's defense, but teaching linebackers for so long.
The Eagles value linebackers coaches more than they value
linebackers. That's true. I mean, Ken Flaholi has been here for how many years, and what have our linebackers been doing? You know, it's speaking of linebackers, Nigel Bratton.
Oh, the shade. I mean, you had to have known what you were saying before you said that. I mean, if you mentioned it a different way, you should have.
I will say.
Don't you will say me.
I understand his explanation.
I get the explanation.
I get it.
Yeah.
But say that shit first.
Yeah, like you're an intelligent guy.
Like,
and
I
then
get
the whole
it.
thing about
don't be afraid to be more specific. Like, when I got there, they're coming off the chip years when they sucked. But even though they only really sucked for 1 year because they went 10, 6, 9, 7. So it's it was still not really accurate. They still went to the playoffs with Chip Kelly. It's whatever. But like your bio says Super Bowl 52 champion. Your profile picture is holding the trophy. Your header is holding the trophy.
Mm-hmm. Not only that, the team stuck by him when he was found with a gun in the airport. He stuck by you. And you're really gonna throw wild shade at them? Like, I get it. You could have said it better, but then at the end of the day, I hate the Saints.
And again, like you say, it's a winning culture that's established here already.
When's the last time the Saints won?
Fuck, the Saints have won. Like the last time they won Super Bowl was 2009. What have they done since then?
Yeah, not much, honestly. I mean, Michael Thomas is doing something. He's looking like the Zach Ertz of New Orleans.
He's Mr. 99 in Madden.
Apparently the best receiver in the game.
So he's Mr.
Very highly disagree with that.
So it's what the hell?
It was very like you don't see Malcolm Jenkins saying anything about that.
I don't know how many people I saw like during the off season bring back Nigel Bratton. We need a linebacker. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, we're better off without him, honestly. I mean, I like the young linebacker core, which we will.
I'd rather put Sharif Miller at linebacker than have Nigel Bratton back.
Okay, you're not going to be part of the linebacker podcast no more. But let's go back to the defensive line. 2 wild cards. You did mention Casey Tuhill, who went from linebacker to defensive end. Joe Osman was the rave of last offseason.
Joe Osman.
I mean, the kid,
I kept forgetting to say his name this podcast. I knew I was forgetting someone. It was Joe Osman.
His numbers in college were good. I mean, all-time defensive leader in tackle, 220 tackles for losses, 45, and sacks, 26. And everybody was raving about him last offseason until he injured himself. Does he finally touch the field?
We read reports that he was giving Andre Dillard the business last training camp, and towards ACL. So like that's another name we've really heard, and we really heard anybody from the defensive line. But Joe Osman, if he people raved about him.
Mm-hmm. He was the talk of camp. Him and Razul at the time were the talk of camp.
And it's people like coaches were raving about him, players were raving about him, and he was showing off in the offseason.
He was the reason that they didn't re-sign Chris Long.
Right. So he was showing videos in the offseason of him working in the sand,
mm-hmm.
and he was working. This is back from 2019. Jimmy Kemsky was watching training camp in 2019, and he said, it seems like everyone in the organization has been pumping up Osman for about a year now, and practice observers are beginning to see why. He has been legitimately good, and not just in a quote-unquote, he's hustling more than everyone else kind of way. Mm-hmm. He's been so intriguing to the Eagles, in fact, that Jim Schwartz is trying to find additional ways of using him. Recently in practices, Schwartz has been standing Osman up over the center in something of a joker role.
Which was Chris Long's old role.
Yes, that was Chris Long. So if you add that, like Joe Osman, if he's healthy, he's better than Sharif Miller. He's better than Casey Tuhill. He might even be better than Josh Sweat. So like
strong possibility.
He's really good. It's just he needs to be healthy. And if he's healthy, he's making the team 100%.
So let me ask you this. Who's your wild card of the defensive end group entering the season? Joe Osman.
Yes.
Who is your most likely to not make it in the group this season? I already know the answer to this, and I'm laughing while I'm asking this because I see your face.
Like, most likely to go to the practice squad?
Most likely to go to practice squad.
I think it's Casey too. I think it's Casey too.
Oh.
I want to say Sharif Miller, but I gotta put my insider cap on because I'm an insider.
I think it's Sharif. Because they've been tooting Tuhill's horn.
Yeah, but I think I read Brandon Graham. I think it was Brandon. Was it Fletcher Cox? One of the two. Saying that Sharif Miller's been really impressive. He's like working his ass off, sending videos into the coaches and all that. So I mean, we'll see. It's one of the two. Like it's not. Again, Osman's healthy. He's making the roster.
Yeah, he's my wild card too. I would love to see Osman.
Write that in pen. Don't write it in pencil. Write it in pen. I know some insiders, like actual insiders. I've seen some roster predictions, and they've all been keeping Osman out.
Interesting.
So I don't know if he's hurt again.
We should have picked John's mind about Osman when he was here because he was very big on Osman last offseason as well.
Maybe we'll get him in. Right, want me to call him?
No. Just ring him up.
So I don't see how Osman doesn't make the team if he is healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So at least Sharif, that's 5 right there. So at least Miller and Tuhill. Maybe they both go to practice squad. But if it's one of the two, I think Miller makes it over Tuhill. I think just because Miller was there, Tuhill wasn't. So give Tuhill a little bit more learning time.
I agree. To a certain extent, I agree with that. I think I'm really looking forward to Avery more than anybody else at the end of the day because I'm very curious to see how. Because he was talking about, he's a monster. He's a wrecking ball when he hits the line. I want to see this guy go off. And I want to see Jim Schwartz completely let this defensive line just eat now that he has the cornerbacks that he needs. Are you having a PSN After Dark moment?
Maybe. Because just thinking of seeing those pictures with Darius Slade and the Eagles jersey and pads,
that's phenomenal.
It's real. And then if Hargraves is healthy,
which he said he'll be healthy to start the season.
Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave together, like Steelers fans are pissed that Javon Hargrave is not there anymore.
It's not by coincidence either.
Like he's good, and if you heard our podcast last week, Barchard said he's a big Hargrave fan.
Mm-hmm.
It's his Instagram, his name is the Grave Digger. So he's ready to put some bodies in the ground.
I can't wait to see it, man.
It's this defensive line is gonna if there's enough coverage in the back, that defensive line is gonna have 60 sacks this year.
I cannot wait to see it. By the way, guys, If you're tuning into this now, if you stood this long, don't forget to use our code FTB at manscaped.com for 20% off. And how you feeling about divorce so far? You tried it out?
I'm unemployed, so my bank account doesn't allow me to go to Tavor right now. But those of you working, you can. Again, Manscaped and Tavor can go hand in hand for you guys.
I see that.
I like to have a shower beer every now and again.
No, you don't.
I
That.
Do not downplay the shower beer.
You have a shower beer?
I don't have it all the time.
No, I'm not saying you have it all the time.
But sometimes if I'm showering and I want a beer, I will bring a beer into the shower and drink while I'm showering. That is a shower beer.
I've never done that. That just doesn't.
You need to live a little.
I've never even thought about that.
That a shower beer is very underrated. You just drink it and shower. Tavor can deliver you your next shower beer while you're manscaping in the shower.
Wow.
Well, Tavor won't come into your house and hand it to you while you're in the shower.
No, of course not.
They'll bring you a box that you can take the beer around. But still, while you're cleaning up your nuggets down there, we earlier in the podcast we were talking about Cialis and Viagra. If you're an old man and you're taking those pills, you got to make sure the tree is the shrubbery is gone. So, Manscaped.com. Use our promo code FTB for the balls.
20% off.
Sorry, Flipping the Birds. 20% off, free shipping. Then head over to Tavour.com, TAVOUR.com, FTB10, the number 10, 10, for $10 off after you spend $25. And if you know craft beer, if you're a craft beer lover like myself, like Brian's not a lover, he's a liker. He likes it as a friend. I love it. I want to marry craft beer.
No,
I'm ready to take it down the aisle again. Shower beers, but so you know how easy it is to spend $25 on craft beer nowadays. Really good beer, one can is about $8, $8-9.
Want to be $5
for a good beer?
For a good beer,
I would say range is 6 to 8.
Okay, we'll do that.
Like now they sell 4 packs for like $20, which would come out to $5 a beer. I understand, but some beers go for more. Like I go to a place where my parents live. Some beers are $6.99, and it's just a bottle, just because it's that good and it's that rare. That's what Tavor gives you. So as soon as you spend $25, you get $10 off your next purchase. Use our code. Drink some beer in the shower while you're shaving your balls, and think about us while you do it.
Just don't catch a fur ball.
Nah, so you got to do it in the shower, so everything goes in the drain, And make sure you get the drain snake.
Oh Lord!
Just in case it's that bad.
If it's that bad, then you need a counselor.
Then quarantine treated you wrong.
Yeah, very wrong. That means you did not listen to one episode of Flipping the Birds. If it's that bad. That is terrible.
I need that drain snake for my wife's hair. She comes out, and women's hair. If you're married, or a girlfriend, women's hair gets everywhere.
Yeah, literally everywhere.
I put the Drano in there, like the gel, and it's like gold, and I was like, it's like I picked up an animal.
Anyways. So I hope you guys have liked our discussion about the animals on the defensive end. What we expect out of them.
Speaking of animals, I just went to Turtleback Zoo yesterday.
How was it? It's just under construction?
Not really.
Okay.
It's just that a lot of stuff was closed due to COVID and all that stuff. And we saw some giraffes. We saw lions.
By the way, shout out to your daughter because she's the most happiest little baby I see on my Instagram feed every single time. Like, this little girl laughs every single time I see her on my feed.
I mean, when you see her dad. When your dad got jokes, like her dad got jokes.
Oh my God!
I mean, you spun this way. Riley's always smiling too. We got happy kids.
We really do. We were blessed with happy kids. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, when you live in a household where your dad is cracking jokes all the time, you learn how to laugh.
I just think she just took after you a little bit too much.
I think she did too, which is not a good thing. It's not a good thing. I'm telling you right now.
But anyways, guys, Thank you for tuning in today with this week's pod. Don't forget, code FTB at manscaped.com for 20% off. Code FTB10 at Tavor.com or the Tavor app, TAVOUR.
Quickly, Tavor app. You download it, Android, iPhone. They send you notifications to your phone.
Yeah.
And they send you emails.
They're really on point with it, too.
They send you emails. Like, here's the latest email that I got. Tavor, Anchorage Imperial Gummy Bear. To order now, go to download or open up our mobile app. They have from Anchorage Brewing. It's one of the best brewers in the country. It's 8.4% sour IPA. Sounds delicious.
I'm not into sours.
They limit people, 6 per member. Like it's $7.99 for a 16-ounce can. What was I telling you? $8 for beer.
You can get Icarus for $5.
Okay, well, Icarus,
Icarus shows up on Tavor. Be nice.
Okay. But I'm telling you right now, I cannot stress this enough. Tavor, go to the app if I can find it. If it's here, hold on. I have so many apps on my phone. Tavor comes up right here. And look at all that beer. Swipe. It's like Tinder. Swipe.
It literally is the Tinder craft beer.
Swipe beer, and then you press get it. How many do you want? Get it. And you add your credit card. Let me add my credit card from the screen for everybody. Quick. Yeah, right. And then you order it, and it comes to your house. There you go.
Well, there you go, guys. Don't forget to use those codes. And tune in next week where we'll cover our next position, which we will not say because we may have something else on the way.
Hold on. Before we end this podcast.
Uh-oh.
I'm sure people are aware of the situation that happened. Am I still saying go Birds? Because now it's like, with the apology from the guy. Remember, he put a half-ass apology, and at the end he put go Birds. And now it's like everybody's like, oh, he thinks go Birds made it, better. Like, haha, I'm sorry, I was racist. Go Birds. It's
it's our thing though.
I was thinking of go Feathered Friends.
I'm not doing this with you right now.
Go Aviation Animals.
Man, say it right, bro. Tune in next week, guys, for episode 52. And we have something cooking. That's all I'm gonna say. Until then, guys, I'm Brian Cameron. He's Chris Infante. This is Flipping the Birds.
Go Birds.
Yes, sir. Can't even do it right.